depends on where you are. For our friends in California and the East Coast, the West Coast, it's morning. Goodness, how life has changed since we were last with you guys.
Yes.
I think 2 Thursdays ago, Dana and I were together at my house, and I was getting ready to go on a trip to Florida, and she was you were headed on a trip. My daughter was headed to the UK. It was business as usual. Spring break was starting. There was this new thing, coronavirus, that was sneaking in our news. And goodness,
I had to slam on those brakes real quick.
I had no idea. We didn't know, and neither did you, what the world would look like 2 weeks past the last time we met. So this morning my kids said to me, "Mom, you're being kind of quiet." And I said, "I know, I've just got a lot on my mind today. I've got a lot of ministry leaders to talk to and a lot on my mind just about the world today." It's just very sobering at moments. So for those of you, I know we have a lot of new people joining us that just wanted to hear our conversation about VBS. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Amy Fenton. I work with Orange and direct our Orange VBS strategy. And my right arm and left arm is Dana Anderson. And we both live in the Nashville area. We are under stay-at-home orders where we live. And so we are coming to you from our separate houses, very socially distant, and excited to talk to you. I wanted to give everybody a minute to join before we jumped in, because I know a lot of people were jumping in on the conversation. So we can read all your posts. Can you see their comments, Dana?
I can. Lots of highs and hellos.
Yes, I love it. First of all, I want to tell you that our goal today is to help you rethink what you're doing.
I see what you did there.
I think for me, my heart is so heavily burdened for such a time as this. Like this morning, somebody at work shared on Slack that they were reading Mordecai's words to Esther, saying, "Maybe you were created for such a time as this." And I feel like now more than ever is the time to be the church. And we're going to have to think of some really creative ways to be the church. But in thinking especially about VBS, I think now more than ever, parents need us to step into their lives. And that is going to have to be really creative. I know for me, I have been home quarantined with 3 kids for a week and a half now. Dana has.
It's so fun.
We might have a little eye twitch from it. Same for both of us. And so for me, even last night, our church, our student ministry got on Instagram Live and engaged our kids. And then they had them all join Zoom rooms for small group afterwards. And it did us all a world of good for them to just engage in that way with the church. So I say all that to say to you, I feel like this could be the summer more than ever before that the church needs VBS.
Yes. It's being called social distancing, but I truly feel like we are social creatures. So this we need to rename it physical distancing. Yes. But we are social. We've just got to come up with new creative ways to do it. It's just how it is.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And, I've seen some people who've just said, well, it won't work on our week, and so we're going to cancel. And I would love to say that I would urge you, beg you to rethink that, to just pause for a minute. I know right now it's like 2020 is canceled, so it feels like that, like the year's been canceled. And so I would urge you to slow down, and instead of thinking canceled, to think creative. How can we do this in a creative way? And so Dana and I and our team, we've brainstormed some. We've talked to some key leaders around the country in all different size churches. And we've come up with some things that we think, you guys forgive me, because we have, just like you, we're rethinking things and coming up with plans on the fly, like you are for each Sunday. But this is, these are some things that we think could work great for you, some things we want you to consider. First of all, obviously, we'd love for you to think about your date, right? I mean, if you can push back your timeline, I think that would be awesome. I'm very realistic and yet very hopeful that this will be passed by the end of summer. I'm hopeful and prayerful. And I don't know, I'm not speaking out of intelligence. I'm just speaking from hope. But I think if you can delay your VBS, I think that when people are finally out from under quarantine, they will be so excited to have something to go to. So that's one thing we want you to think about is look at your dates. But we also know that for some of you that might not be an option, that things might be set, or we might still be under quarantine. So we want to also think through some other things that you can do. So let's say, here's what I'd like you to pause and do. I'd like you to pause and meet with your team and come up with 3 plans. I think that would be so wise to think through 3 plans. So number 1, a plan if life is normal, back to normal, and you can meet. Fantastic. Let's plan. Let's dream what that might look like. Maybe at a later date. Number 2, I want you to think about what if we're in a place where you can gather in groups of maybe 10 or less, or who knows, by that time, maybe it'd even be 25 or less, or, the number might be higher. In that case, I think it would be awesome to consider taking this VBS and turning it into a, Kevin
backyard club or front yard club.
I think he called it a front yard club. I love that.
Neighborhood club.
Yes. So somebody says that our concern is financial, and we're going to get to that in a minute. So I'm glad you said that. But maybe you turn it into a backyard or front yard club. So we love that idea. And as time goes on, we're going to help you think through what that can look like. The other thing to think about is if we are all it's still recommended we are under stay at home. What can that look like? So I think I would bring
virtual VBS.
Right, virtual VBS. And I think there's some ways to utilize tools like this, doing Facebook Live, some kind of live stream, or even something pre-recorded that you can give to families, and you can help them by giving them a schedule. Like maybe you go live every night or every morning with your large group time and your Bible story time. And then we are going to help you think through what are some tools that you can give them to equip them at home to do the rest. Because right now, I think parents are overwhelmed right now. This is a new normal for all of us. We are trying to, there's one of Dana's kids in the window.
And I sent them all outside.
That was our first time, because I was saying it's a new normal for all of us. And then they were like, hello. Yes. So we're all trying to figure out what this means to become homeschool parents all of a sudden. But this is what I know too. In the summer, the online school will be gone. And parents are going to be looking for things to do. And they'll find it from someone. So I think to find it from the church would be amazing. Um, I just think this is the time when we can step up and be present in people's lives, be a source of light and hope and encouragement, more so than ever before. So I think for me, that's the one thing I don't want you to forget in the midst of this, because I think if you're like me, you're a little overwhelmed. I know I am. And so I'm imploring you not to quit and not to give up on summer. It's going to look different, but I think that it's very important that you bring something to your church families to keep hope alive, to keep the energy going, the excitement. I just think this season is what we were made for, and we didn't even know it, and we've got to figure it out.
Well, and if we are able to meet again, people are going to be so hungry for something that this could be your greatest attended event ever. Because people are clamoring for social things, for things to do. I know I'm about to get a basketball through my window.
I love it. This is real life, kids. Real life. I've read so many things, and the news is overwhelming, and I just have to kind of slow down sometimes. But here's one thing that I tell people all the time in talking about the church. People want to be asked to do something significant.
Yeah.
And I believe that every day. I think now more than ever, people want to be asked to do something significant. So what an amazing opportunity for you to lean into people and ask them to step up and to help you figure this out. So, Dana and I always say, like, delegate. Make a team. So if you've not made a team, this is the time to lean into a team. Get a Zoom account. Invite them in a meeting and say, how can we step up and be a powerful presence, even if it's online, to our community?
Yeah. It can also be a great way to help you financially with your donations, and have a call to action to everyone in your church, because they're looking for things to do and ways to give.
Yeah. So I was going to say, Dana and I actually led VBS through 2008, through the recession of 2008. And it made us totally rethink VBS that year. In fact, we really were considering canceling it just because of budget reasons. And I'll say this to encourage you. When we were trying to make that decision, I asked a lot of hard questions of people over me. To say, here's why I think this is so important for our community right now. And so what can we do? How can we figure out what can we do? And in our situation, there were some people who gave specifically large amounts of money to keep VBS going. I think that sometimes we feel isolated in kids ministry, and we don't realize how many people outside the direct realm of our ministry believe in what we do, especially something like VBS. It ties back to the heartstrings of a lot of people from their own childhood. So I think that you need to talk with your pastor, talk with your staff, talk with your executive pastor, whoever makes those financial decisions, to say, we really want to keep going. And so what can we do to get creative? Because I'm guessing most of you have been told we're on a spending freeze, right? I mean, I get it. But here's the thing. If you have the kit, you have the tools you need to do a great VBS.
Yeah.
It might look really different. Here's the blessing in our simplified decor. You can still do great VBS. Yeah. Take those graphics we gave you and put them on a screen or on TV and show the
You're done.
You're done. Yeah, there's your decor. But here's something that Dana and I are committed to, is in the weeks to come, and this is new to us just like it is to you. So in the weeks to come, this is what we will commit to do, is to look through the crafts the games, the small group activities, and to start to figure out what can be simplified, what can be done with items you already have, what could be done at home. So we know that you don't have money right now, and we want to help you with that. But I also think that if you cast vision for what a difference this can make in your community and ask, sometimes you just don't have because you haven't asked. So even though it's across the board spending freeze, I would go have that conversation and say, I feel like this is an opportunity for us to reemerge in our community in a big way. And I'd like to ask for some money to help with that, if at all possible. Or that you all know those people in your church that you go to who they like to give to some big significant cause, right? Right. So I think, maybe you charge for VBS and you don't want to now because families in your area have been impacted. So maybe you ask somebody to give for that. Would you provide scholarships for the kids in our church? Maybe you change what you charge. Maybe you just charge $4 a family, or, whatever. Maybe you're in a community that's not been greatly affected. And we're in Nashville, so we've been hit by tornadoes and then the coronavirus. And our kids are out of school and have been and will be for a long time. So we're in a tough spot here. But I know some of you live in areas that really haven't been terribly affected right now. So I love what you guys are saying. On the upside, there should be plenty of toilet paper roll. This is an opportunity for us to reemerge in our community in a significant way. I believe that with all my heart. If we get to it and we see that most likely it's going to have to all be online and done from homes, we will even do what we've done with our Orange curriculum right now, and we will find a way to get it to you in a link easy to share. If you don't know about what we're doing with our curriculum, it's free for anybody. You do not have to be an Orange user. You do not have to be a partner, anything. If you go to orangekidmen.com/coronavirus, there are free lessons there right now that are download links to stream a video lesson. We will do the same with our VBS content if needed. So we're going to help you. I say that to say, do not panic. We will come up with adaptations to the activities and crafts. We will provide you the resources needed to do it online if we get to that place. We just want to help you win because we believe in this and we believe what it can do for your community. Mm-hmm. Dana, I'm looking at my notes. Is there anything that you can think of I feel like there's so many things.
Yeah, there are so many things. I mean, so many have talked about if we end up needing to do virtual and have those videos, then what do we do with the small groups? And a lot of schools around here are doing packets that families then drive by and grab their packet, and that can end up being options. Using Zoom, working on. We do have the mission partner that will continue going, but I know everybody around here is starting to clean out their closets and all their things. So those shoes, keep those shoes for donation purposes, because that's our mission partner this year.
Yes, Souls for Souls.
Oh my, I'm about to get a basketball in the back of my head.
You tell your people that Souls for Souls, even now more than ever, because they help countries that are already so impoverished, and they've been affected by the coronavirus too. And a lot of their shoes they send to help people create micro enterprise to resell the shoes, to fix them up and resell them. So that's another great thing. Somebody mentioned Playlister, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Playlister is if we feel like we're coming to that place where we need to do everything online, we will connect with Playlister. In fact, we're working on that right now to see if it's a possibility, and I really feel like it will be. If you don't know Playlister, Google it. But they're an online platform that helps you stream your service, and they allow you to video yourself too, to insert the personal parts of it. But then also jump straight into showing your teaching videos and that kind of thing. And it's super easy to use. Any of you that want to jump in here and comment on Playlister that use it, I'd love to hear your firsthand feedback for sure. That
was such a great tool.
One of the things on my list. The things that we want to also help you think through. One thing I would say is over communicate. So I would over communicate with your daughter. He's so cute. I think everybody can relate to your kids background, right? But I think that you need to over communicate with your families and with your volunteers. Even if it is to say we are coming up with a plan A, B, or C, just over communicate to them that you are working on a plan and why. So communicate what's going on and ask for their prayers and ask for their help. Let's see. Another thing that, well, Dana, you kind of said this a while ago. So like we have a church, a couple of churches have told me they're already planning for at-home VBS, and they're creating packets.
Oh my gosh, my world is coming down around me.
They're creating packets using they purchased the individual EPs. They'd already bought t-shirts, so they're going to put the VBS t-shirts and an EP and a lot of the supplies in these little packets and do drive up, pick up. You could have your small groups deliver them, have your small group leaders deliver them to their small group. Lots of great things you could do with that to get really creative.
We had someone suggest doing this as a back to school. If we end up having to go through the summer in quarantine and you move your date really late, use it as a back to school kickoff event or a fall something.
Yes. You know what? That Rebecca Simmons said that, and I love that. Our friends at Westside Family Church, I love that they're going to make this into a back to school bash. How fun is that? What a great way to introduce your kids to their small group leaders. Right? You get those small group leaders on board to lead the small groups. Also keep in mind that our VBS is made to where it can be a 3, 4, or 5 day VBS. So if you decide that you want to do a back to school bash and make it a weekend event leading up to school kicking off, you could do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we recommend you use days 1, 3, and 5, right? Dana, I love that everybody's enjoying your home.
I mean, it's like
your home chaos.
I love having my kids home.
Yes,
I really, really do.
I know, I do too.
I'm gonna miss it one day.
It has been. We have had fun. We've had moments of really hard, and we've had moments of really sweet memories. So I'm looking over my notes because we want to make sure. I feel like we've given you some ideas to chew on today. So number 1, don't quit. Number 2,
we can do this.
Yes. Come up with three options and hold those right now. I don't think any of us are ready to make any major decisions this week.
Never make decisions in crisis.
No, this is not the time. So come up with business as usual, smaller groups, and a home plan. We know, I mean, at Orange, we are in the middle of reworking a conference for 8,000 people that's supposed to happen in a month. So we feel you, and we're encouraging you to tell you it really can be done. I keep hearing people say, I have all the time in the world on my hands. when next person
we got something for you to do.
Next person that posts that in your church, comment, great, call me.
Right.
This can be done, but more than that, I think just the reason that my heart was so heavy today is because I just believe with all my heart that God has called us and equipped us for such a time as this.
Yes.
Kids need fun and light and life and friends and connection. And I live with a couple of really big extroverts, and they are already craving it. So imagine what it's going to be like when June gets here.
Well, and our kids are so hungry. They are watching us and they see what's going on and how we are reacting to things. My 10-year-old son, the one that you saw walking through here, we let him start a YouTube account this week. I know it's really no, and I normally wouldn't. But I told him he has to stay private and because he wanted things to do. So we let him start making videos. And this morning he came in and he asked if he could upload a video. And it is him out on the front porch saying to the world, God has something that he wants to tell us through this coronavirus. And I want you to know, world, that I am praying for you. And I made me tear up.
Just give me a dish. Oh my goodness.
But
That's
they
the
see
sweetest.
what we're doing and they hear our words and they want to do something too. What we are doing is making a difference. What you are doing is making a difference, and speaking life into these kids. It's why we do what we do.
Yeah. So they need you. Please be present. Please get creative with this. If you just feel stuck, email us. I mean, Dana and I will jump on and set up a Zoom call with you. We will help you think through this even more. But just know that our strategy sessions the next couple of weeks, and we might even add some extras in there. We were doing them every other week. We might bump it up for now. But we will be thinking through all of this, how to simplify everything. We will be posting plans. We'll be asking questions on the Facebook page. So if you're like, hey, I've already come up with simplified craft, post them, share them. That's the thing I love more than anything about this Facebook page is how great this community is to help each other and encourage each other. So somebody wrote something really sweet that a quote by C.S. Lewis. They said, hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. And
that's good.
It's so true. You know, this morning it kind of dawned on me because I was in ministry. I know some of you are really young and were not in ministry when 9/11 happened, but I was young and new in ministry at the time. And that was such a defining moment in our nation's history and in my ministry. And it dawned on me today that this is the next generation's 9/11. And, you know, after that, we really, everybody knew somebody who was affected by it. And this is bigger in a way. Because that was in New York City. You know, this is worldwide. And so I think that's the other piece is the good things that happened after 9/11 is we were immediately able to gather together as a church. And this is so weird because we can't. And so let's just keep thinking of how we can take the technology that God's given us and leverage it for good and to regroup and cling close to each other, to our communities, and keep shining the light of Jesus.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, friends? Somebody said, I'm not crying, you're crying.
My friend says, my eyeballs are sweating.
All right, friends, you can do this. We'll post more about some additional strategy sessions as soon as we're figuring this out with you. So as soon as Dana and I figured it out, we will.
That might be never.
Well, we'll at least tell you what we're thinking and you can help us figure it out, okay? All right.
You guys are awesome.
Have a great day.